Hi there, this is Wasim Asgar. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the US and Canada. I've authored several books on the topic of FE Electrical and Computer exam as well as the PE Power exam. And I also run FE Electrical and Computer as well as PE Power exam preparation programs. In this video, I'm going to discuss whether it's a good idea to take some vacation time, some paid time off in order to prepare for your FE and PE exams. So the short answer to this question is that it really depends on where you are in terms of your preparation. Upfront in your preparation, in the first few weeks, first few months, I don't recommend taking any time off specifically for FE or PE exam preparation. It is typically more helpful to take time off at the tail end of your preparation when you have gone through an entire round of review of the exam specification, when you have done a lot of practice problems already. At this stage of the game, you typically know what your strengths and weaknesses are. Having said that, I've had students in the past who have taken time off from work, sometimes even leaves of absences in order to prepare for the FE and the PE exams. So ideally what I recommend students is that start off your preparation for FE exam, for the PE exam. As you know, in the FE Electrical and Computer exam, you're being tested on all 4 years of undergraduate engineering coursework in 5 hours and 20 minutes. You have topics like mathematics, probability, stats, ethics, engineering economics, properties of electrical materials, circuits, linear systems, signal processing, power systems, electronics, digital systems, all the computer topics, electromagnetics, control systems, and so on and so forth. So ideally what you want to do is build a momentum slowly but surely. Start your preparation by putting in 10-15 hours a week and then gradually increase it to maybe around 20 hours per week. And then the next goal is to actually sustain that level of effort for an extended period of time, which typically happens to be 3 to 4 months. Now with this gradual ramp up and consistency over 3 to 4 months, you're giving yourself ample opportunity to actually deep dive into the concepts that are bugging you, learn and relearn some of the new knowledge areas, and along the way do a ton of practice problems. And this really is a winning strategy. Within my FE Electrical and Computer exam preparation program, I have the on-demand content which contains over 250 lectures, 150 plus quizzes, mini exams, computer simulated practice exams, and the goal is to help students develop a solid understanding from a theoretical standpoint, and I give them an opportunity to work with tons and tons of practice problems with detailed solutions in order to really cement their understanding. And the same story applies to the PE Power exam preparation. In the PE Power exam preparation, the focus is on power systems. You have 4 sections and multiple subsections. Section number 1 is all about general power engineering. It has a lot of different topics. Section 2 focuses on analytical tools within circuit analysis. Section 3 is focused on induction machines, synchronous machines, transformers. And section 4 deals with a little bit more abstract and convoluted topics like fault analysis, protection, power system stability, power flow. And the formula remains the same, that start out by putting in a few hours, maybe 5 to 10 hours for the first couple of weeks, bring it up to 20 hours per week, and then sustain that over 3 to 4 months, as well as a live training program which basically takes you through all of the exam topics, helps you understand the theoretical background, the concepts, the convoluted knowledge areas, and gives you an opportunity to work with tons and tons of practice problems. In order to prepare for the PE Power exam, you have to be really focused. You have to actually deep dive into the content, because the reference handbook that is provided to you for the PE Power exam is generally speaking not as detailed as compared to the FE Electrical and Computer exam preparation. You also have to deal with codes and standards. So on the PE Power exam, there are a lot more open-ended areas that you can get tested on as compared to the FE Electrical and Computer exam. So coming back to our original question, during this exam preparation, whether you're preparing for the FE Electrical or PE Power or any other FE exam or the PE exam, what is the ideal time to use your vacation or PTO? So let us assume that you end up taking your entire vacation, whatever amount you wanted to utilize and dedicate towards the exam preparation. Let's say this is 3 weeks. So you end up taking entire 3 weeks upfront for your FE exam preparation and PE exam preparation. And I've had students in the past who sort of experimented with this type of approach. And what ends up happening is that unless you already have a momentum that carries you through, you already have a study routine, you already have a schedule, you already have developed a habit of studying at a particular time at a particular location for in a particular setting, what ends up happening is that those 1 to 3 weeks that you have set aside now in order to prepare for the exam, you're actually gonna most likely burn through them just to establish those habits. Now you can actually much more effectively establish the habits, the routine, and the entire ecosystem for your studying at a lower cost in terms of time by easing into it. right? Try and incorporate it on a regular basis. But if you spend 3 weeks of your vacation time, leave of absence, or PTO, however way you want to swing it, then I think it's very expensive use of your time and not very effective. Now, conversely, if you leave those 2 to 3 weeks for the tail end of your preparation, that for the first couple of weeks, you develop the habit, for the next 2, 3, 4 months, you sustained it at 20 hours per week, and you have now completed the entire exam specification, whether you're preparing for the FE Electrical and Computer exam or the PE Power exam or any other FE or PE exam. At this stage, you know what you don't know, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. And now when you take that 1 week, 2 week, or 3 week off, you know exactly what needs to be done. You can squeeze in some practice exams in there as well. They will further help you identify your deficiencies, gaps, weaknesses, and then you can have focused 8 to 10 hour study sessions every single day during that time off that you have basically taken before the exam. The analogy that I like to give my students is that of athletes. So let's say you are a UFC fighter, or you're going into a boxing competition, or you have a big game coming up, whichever sport you are playing. You want to be in your peak performance just before that particular fight, just before that particular game. So when you take 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off before the actual exam, then you're essentially accelerating your learning, your readiness, your sharpness, your focus, and come the day of exam, you're going to be at your peak performance. I have a lot of students who actually don't take any vacation time, any leave of absence. At max, they may actually take a day or two before the actual exam, and that works perfectly fine as well if you have planned accordingly, if you have been very diligent in your studies and you are not relying on that burst of motivation and burst of focus studying at the tail end, then you may not even need any extra time off. But assuming that you have some extra time in your vacation, leave of absence, and this is really a high stake endeavor for you, which it tends to be for most of the students and candidates who are taking the exam, then in my opinion, based on my experience and observation, taking the time off before the exam, a week, a few days, a couple of weeks, is a more effective utilization of your vacation time. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content on FE Electrical and PE Power exam preparation, and feel free to check out my website www.StudyforFE.com for more details about how you can prepare for these exams effectively. Thank you. If you like this video, then please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comment section of this video below. You can find tons of success stories of my FE Electrical and PE Power students over here. And if you want to learn more about preparation of FE Electrical and Computer exam and the PE Power exam, then check out these playlists over here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next video.